Welcome everyone to another exciting episode of Coach Ben's Case by Case. Today's case, men who cry are cringy. Let's jump right into it, shall we? Alright. So he's 30 years old. His girlfriend is 28. My girlfriend just called me cringy and weak. Wow. Let's find out why. That's quite a start already. Those are very powerful words, not to be taken lightly for sure. For having a moment, and I don't know how to react to it. So a bit of backstory. I was lucky enough to have a beautiful childhood with a very loving family when I was a kid. Okay, so he played Pokemon Diamond on his Nintendo DS a lot, and I remember very specifically going to this area of the game called Eterna Forest because I loved its music. I can relate to that. Many different games had great original soundtracks. It's a beautiful piano melody that I would listen to for hours, which actually motivated me to learn to play the piano. Well, hey, that's really nice. You know, I'm just going to really quickly say, growing up with Nintendo, Super Nintendo, PlayStation, yada yada, I enjoyed video games, and there were a lot of very emotionally touching pieces of music. And those sound artists, you know, they put a lot of effort into those tracks. It is very moving. It's just like watching a movie or a show or anything else on TV. It's media. It's touching. Music is a beautiful thing. I'm glad he learned how to play piano. For me, it was learning martial arts based off of the game Mortal Kombat. I wanted to move like they did. It's inspiring. Nothing wrong there so far. Cue today, I have a girlfriend, and we've lived together for 2 years. Okay, so pretty young relationship. We have a great relationship. We were in the living room. I was playing video games while she was sitting next to me browsing Instagram. I was playing Pokemon Legends Arceus on my Switch, which is a prequel to Pokemon Diamond, the game I played when I was a kid on my DS. Okay, so let's see what happens in this situation, because I imagine there's going to be a big problem. You already know based on the title. So let's go ahead and dive into that problem, shall we? All right, here we go. All of a sudden, as I progress through the game, I get to the forest area, and a beautiful arrangement of the Eterna Forest song I loved as a kid comes on. I wasn't expecting it, and I stopped on my tracks to listen to the song. It's nostalgic, right? In a mix of shock and nostalgia, there it is, I started tearing up. It reminded me of those happy times when I was a kid and brought back many memories from my happy childhood. Yeah, you know, similar for me when I hear the SimCity Super Nintendo music, you know, that when you were a child, a teenager, you grew up playing these games. And sometimes, like I said before, shows and movies with their soundtracks. There's nothing wrong with that. I stopped moving in the game and kept silent while I heard the music as a few tears rolled down, fully reliving the moment. Well, it's a sweet time. My girlfriend noticed and asked me if I was okay. Okay. I dried off my tears and started happily explaining what had happened and gave her the whole backstory. When I finished explaining, she asked, "So you're telling me you're crying over a video game? Wow." Alright, getting a little aggressive. What's her problem? I told her it wasn't the video game, but what it represented. Right. And the good memories it gave me. Then she said, "I can't believe you right now. Crying over a video game is cringy as hell." Seriously? Then stood up and left. Wow, that's quite toxic. Where did that come from? Let's find out, right? I followed her and asked her what was wrong. And she said she was disappointed that I cried over something like that and that she wasn't expecting me to be this weak. She said she didn't want to talk about it further and went to bed. Wow. Seriously? Out of all the possible relationship problems and issues, this is the hill you want to die on, young lady? What? What is so wrong? He had a moment. All right, let's find out what's going on. We don't have enough information yet to see what's really going on. I'm pretty sure he's going to get into the nitty gritty. There's got to be a reason for her toxic behavior, right? Because that's not the worst, but that's sad. That kind of hurts, right? I mean, imagine if the tables were turned. You know, she's crying over a soap opera or something she saw on TV, or maybe the same type of thing, music that brought her a memory. I'm pretty sure most guys would be like, hey, honey, what's going on? You all right, babe? Right? I mean, not all men, because there's toxic guys out there as well, but I'm just going to go ahead and continue because, all right, let's see what happened. I didn't really expect her to react this way. We've been together 4 years, and so far she's been a great partner, and this is very uncharacteristic of her. She has, however, stated several times that she hates video games. Oh boy, this is not going to end good. And that she doesn't like me playing them. Oh, right, that's kind of like some controlling behavior there. Excuse me, but that's not cool. But I stood my ground and long ago and told her I'm not leaving my favorite hobby just because she doesn't like it, which she has slowly come to accept. I have found a balance to play in my free time, and that doesn't affect our relationship, and until now, it has worked just fine. Right. I mean, why wouldn't it work? Oh my goodness, like he's very responsible about it. I mean, it's his hobby. What's your hobby? I mean, browsing Instagram? Because if that's your hobby, it's kind of sad, but hey, to each their own, right? I don't want to overreact and call it quits over something like this. But I am concerned about this way of thinking of hers, and quite honestly, I'm sad that she reacted this way. Yeah, you should be sad and concerned. I mean, you know, think about it. You want to spend your whole life with this person, potentially. How many more times is this going to happen, and in how many different ways? How many iterations? I don't want to find out if I was him. But let's see if it's salvageable, right? Because he says, not too much, right? Not too bad. I was just having a human moment and opened up with her only to be called names by the person I love. Yeah, well, arguments are going to happen, but this is kind of a ridiculous argument. But then again, most arguments and relationships are, in fact, ridiculous. Nothing to even fight over. So hopefully they kiss and make up. Let's find out. We're planning on having kids eventually. Okay, they're pretty serious. And if we do end up having a boy, I do not plan on raising him with toxic masculinity. Yes, it does exist. Or anything like that. So I'm not sure of how to go over this situation. Well, you're handling it peacefully. That's the number one thing to do. There's no cause for alarm. You're not overreacting. And you don't want to overreact and call it quits, or potentially call it quits. So kudos to you, young man. Kudos. Very proud. Let's continue on. I do not regret reacting how I did. You shouldn't. I don't think you reacted bad at all. Nor do I feel embarrassment or anything like that, and I won't let absolutely anyone make me change the way I am. I will react to things however I feel like reacting. I dare say I'm an emotionally intelligent person, and I know very well how to compartmentalize my thoughts and feelings and not let them take me over. Well done. I hate toxic masculinity. So do I. And I refuse to let such a ridiculous culture dictate how I act. You know, sadly, so many males out there choose to be toxic. They do adopt toxic masculinity, so they're no better than the toxic females out there. That's what I call the gender war. I'm also a strong believer in communication. That's key. And I think this wasn't a deal breaker in our relationship. It shouldn't be. At least not until we talked about it. Also, because it's the first and only time anything like this has ever happened. If it was a repeat case, or if she had doubled down, I would have left her a long time ago. Well, let's see, because it could potentially be a double down case. Now, can it? It can. This could get far worse, but we'll talk about that later. She comes from a family of athletes. We're both tennis players. In fact, see, so he's not just sitting there all day playing video games and crying over nostalgic music. Sounds to me like they have a healthy relationship, for the most part, except for this part, which is her fault. That's what I see. In fact, that's how we met. We share a passion for the sport of tennis. She also has a healthy relationship with their family. She's close with their parents and sister, and we see them often. Bravo. They're all great people. She has been unfamiliar with video games her whole life. Well, that's okay. I've asked her before why she hates them so much, and she said she thinks they are nerdy, stupid, and a waste of time. Okay, she has a right to her own opinion. But what she's doing right now is trying to humiliate you and belittle you and disrespect you. That's where I draw the line. You can say you hate video games. You think it's stupid or nerdy. That should not affect the relationship. You have the right to your own opinion. But when you tell your partner that they look stupid or are stupid or wasting their time or they're being nerdy, now you're attacking your partner. That's the toxicity right there. That's the toxicity. So you turned a simple opinion about a certain hobby into a toxic form of behavior. You see the big difference there. It's a thick red line. So if you have an opinion about your partner's hobby or activity, which could change over time, you never know. Maybe she actually maybe it grows on her and say, hey, you know what? I'm feeling extra frisky today. Let me grab that extra controller and play games with you. That's what a loving partner should do. At least try to do what your partner likes to do. Right? I mean, think about it. Once again, you're going to spend the whole life with this person. Your whole life. Would you want to spend your whole life with the person who literally, using the word hate and thinks it's stupid, the things that you love to do? That's just the wrong answer on so many levels. That's not a great candidate for a potential lifelong soulmate level relationship. Not even a mediocre relationship, a decent one at best. I think she's a classic case of hating something you don't understand. Exactly. There are video games for both men and women, boys and girls, of all gustos. Plenty to choose from. It's not just sports. And she might actually like a lot of the soundtracks on those video games. Open your mind, people. I never minded going to shop at Victoria's Secret for my soulmate or going to do feminine things with my soulmate. You gotta expand your mind. Open your horizons. You might actually enjoy looking at all the variety and different things and learn a thing or two, or 3 or 4 or 5. Learn how to cook. It's not just for women. There's so many things I could say right now. But let's go ahead and proceed to see this particular case, how it goes. We got to know what's really going on in those minds right now. We already know how he feels and what he thinks. Hopefully he gives a little bit more detail on what she thinks and says. Have I reacted like this before? Yes, I have. But not too often. In fact, only one time before today. It was when one of my favorite tennis players won his first big tournament after a really close match 2 years ago. Okay, so that was a moment when he cried in front of her. Once again, I was so happy I teared up. She's a big fan of this player as well, and we celebrated his victory together. As for her, I honestly don't recall ever seeing her cry over anything in the 4 years we've been together. I talked to my girlfriend after we both calmed down. I began by explaining and telling her how hurt and disappointed I was by her reaction and told her that she just couldn't talk to me, or anyone for that matter, like that for expressing their feelings because it's just rude and demeaning and very much unlike her, which we've already mentioned. It is demeaning and very rude, right? Now, once again, you can have your right to your opinion, but your partner's there crying. You could give him a hug. Where's your heart? Are you that heartless? Seriously? If your partner cries over anything, tears of joy, tears of nostalgia, tears of pain, tears of concern or worry, you better comfort your partner right then and there. What is wrong with you, woman? Right? This young woman is going, wow. I really hope she sobers up. I hope he has to clean up her act right here. Then I asked what's going on and why she called me those things. She then proceeded to apologize. Okay, that's a little baby step forward. And explained that it wasn't the crying that upset her. I asked if it also bothered her when I cried that time our favorite player won the tournament, that tennis tournament, and she said that it didn't. Well, that's a little bit contradictory now, isn't it? It's okay to cry over the favorite tennis player that you both enjoy, but nostalgic tears? Nope, you're weak and cringy, right? No, that doesn't make sense. Doesn't quite fit. That block doesn't go there. A big error right there. She said that it bothered her that I had such a strong emotion to something she really dislikes, which is a video game, especially with it being a Pokemon game, which is another discussion we had a long time ago, where she told me she didn't like that I still played a kid's game. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. And I told her she would have to deal with it because I'm not changing who I am and what I like for anyone. Well done, well said, but once again, you got to consider who you're with. Who is this woman by your side? Does she really love you, or... Because, you know, the whole friends with benefits scenario, that's what it reminds me of. Oh, I love you. That's conditional love right there. That's under, okay, I only love you if you don't cry about this cringy, weak stuff. That's just messed up. That's not love. Okay? So she's probably in the relationship for just satisfactory purposes. Just her own satisfaction. That's all that matters, is what I see so far. I mean, she apologized, but does she really mean it? Right? Because that does matter. Anybody can say something. Anybody can just give a cheap apology, but do they really mean it? It really does matter that much. How can she prove it? By the way she's talking about it. It's one thing to make an apology, but it's another thing to discuss it, to iron it out. You guys have to hash it out, but in a peaceful, mature way. A wise manner. Doesn't look like she's being very wise here. She's kind of doubling down as the guy was worried about, as far as I'm concerned. But let's go ahead and just see what happens. I told her, yeah, that deal with it. And it made her very angry. Very angry? Seriously? She's getting upset and angry over you crying over a nostalgic piece of music that normally, I don't imagine you're going to be crying every single time. It's probably just this once. It really got you. It hurt. It touched your feelings, right? It's natural. It's a natural, because those tears are not just nostalgia. They're emotional tears of joy because it reminds you of happy moments of your past. It's not even about the game. It has nothing to do with the game. She has to realize that. And you told her that. So she's really not computing that in her brain, in her mind. She's not really processing that correctly. That's very poor. That's a poor attitude, if you ask me. Very angry and upset. My goodness. It's not even... Overreacting is an understatement. She said she just didn't express it properly. Yeah, but how is it going to happen in the future? Are we going to do this all over again? Round 2? Round 3? Round 4? That's what concerns me, and I bet he's concerned about it too. And made a very poor choice of words. That's a poor excuse. This isn't a poor apology. And let her, where's the I love you, I'm sorry, and that's pretty much it, You guys can just cuddle. Where's the physical apology as well? You guys should, hug it out. Little kisses on the cheeks at the very least. I mean, come on. Where's the love? Where's the affection? I mean, this is not loving each other dearly. This is just, oh, my bad. I'm sorry. You know, it was a poor choice of words. And let her anger get the best of her. But why are you so angry over video games? See, that makes you immature, young woman. You're the immature one here. How are you going to get upset over a video game? So you're here saying that it's cringy for your boyfriend to cry over Pokemon with the music. Yet you're getting the opposite. You're getting upset. Who's being productive and positive and loving? He is. You're being destructive, negative, and abusive, aren't you? So who's the immature one here? Riddle me that. Because this is a poor apology. This young woman has... I really cringe to even call her a young woman. She's a young female at this point, unless I see better. You don't deserve to be called a woman. Not with this cringy attitude. That's what's really cringe here. But let's go ahead and proceed, because as sad as this case is, we always have to finish these, obviously. Very poor choice of words, and let her anger get the best of her. She said she doesn't think I'm weak at all. Why did you say it then? Those are very harsh words. Calling your boyfriend weak? Seriously? And said that she loves me. Well, you have some way of showing it. And appreciates everything I do. Right, because as long as he satisfies you and everything else from B to Z, we can just skip over A. The one that's popping out the most. The problem that's first in line. That you actually get upset over the most ridiculous things. Today it's Pokemon. Tomorrow it's what? I don't like to play mystery box with the person in a relationship. I would hate to be in that position. What's it going to be? Today, tomorrow, later today or tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. What else is it going to be that makes you cringe? What else is it going to be that makes you call him weak? But let's go ahead and proceed, shall we? I asked her if she feels like I do not give her enough attention, and she said that's not the case. But that she would just love it if I just never played video games at all. Wow! Why don't you just, like... You're pretty much decapitating your boyfriend here. What are you talking about? You don't take something away from your boyfriend or suggest that it... No, you don't. You have your opinion about video games. Just leave it at that. Okay? Leave it right there. You shouldn't tell your boyfriend, well, you know what? I would like it if you just no longer played video games. The thing that, one of your favorite activities, your hobbies that makes you smile and laugh and have tears of joy, of nostalgia or whatever, just makes you feel good inside. No, honey. I mean, talk about the toxicity. How toxic do you have to be? How evil-hearted do you have to be? There's no heart. She's completely heartless. And dropped it all together. Like I said, decapitating your boyfriend. Why don't you just this is like ripping his heart out. Are you serious? And you know, people might say it's just a video game. No, it's not. Like I said, today it's video games. Tomorrow it's what? I mean, this is narcissistic, abusive, controlling behavior is what it is. Yes, it is. It's not an extreme. That's just the truth. I told her once again. Look at this constant justification going on. My goodness. Unbelievable. That's unfortunately not going to happen. So he's standing his ground. Because it's a hobby I enjoy. I also told her that I would never ask her to give up her hobbies just because I didn't like them. Exactly, what a gentleman. And that it was unfair that she did that to me. It is unfair. 100%. I would be more understanding of her request if playing consumed me to a point in which our day-to-day dynamic would be affected. Right. Such as me losing my job, or if I stop doing my house chores because of it, or anything like that. But that's far from the case. It is. That's clearly not the case, right? We have a very good roommate dynamic. Well, I don't like that. Just because you guys get along doesn't mean you guys are a good couple. Where's the love? So far, I haven't heard anything that proves her love for you. An apology doesn't cut it. That's not it. That's not it. It's not enough. I'm not asking her to get on her knees and really just ask you for forgiveness. Beg you. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just asking, where's the hug? Where's the kiss? Where's the simple apology, but heartfelt apology? Why does she have to double down? Because she just doubled down right here. That love it. She says, she's using the term love. She would love it if he just never played video games ever again and just dropped it altogether. There's no love. Obviously, she has no idea what love is, and so many people out there, so many toxic, immature people, completely unintelligent and heartless. They use the word love without even meaning it. They just, like I said in the beginning of this case, they just say it just to say it. Oh, I get a free pass because I said the word love. Love you, honey, but I hate when you do this. I want you to stop doing that. Do what I tell you to. Where's the whip? Where's the ball and chain? That's a prison. That's not a relationship. Big warning for you, young man. Huge red flag right here. I mean, might as well just call it an evil red carpet, because that's what you're walking down. Hope you guys don't get married. Not with this poor attitude from her. And you might just say, once again, that it's just about a video game and one little situation. No, because this is going to snowball. Almost guaranteed. With the way she's talking to you. This is highly toxic. But he says it's far from the case. Okay, fine. Let's continue. We have a very good roommate dynamic. That's where I drew the line. Like, no, you guys aren't just companions. Let's get along. Like, that word roommate is horrible. You know, you could say we really love each other so much. No, that's where your relationship is right now. A roommate level. Never to become a soulmate level. Not at this rate. Not with this poor quality. Our house is always clean. I do our errands without being told to. We play tennis together at least 3 times a week. And sometimes after that we hit the gym, eat out often, and our sex life is good, etc. Okay, well, checking all the other blocks, are we? We spend a lot of quality time together. It's just a healthy relationship in general. Not so healthy, buddy. Not so healthy, because that which matters most is not being checked. It's not being fulfilled. Which is why I was so surprised by her reaction. I've also invited her several times to join me playing fun stuff like Mario Kart, very fun game. Or It Takes Two, so we can spend more time together while doing something I like. But the answer is always no. Always no. Like I said, I already sensed it. Today, yesterday, tomorrow. You see, you've already been through this. It's just that this time, she caught you crying tears of nostalgia. Not caught you like you're hiding it, but she caught the moment, right? And just because you may or may not have cried in the past, look at what she told you. It's cringy. The only people who would say cringy to their own partner is like a psycho. What are you talking about? What do you mean cringe? That means annoying. That cringy is another word for annoying, embarrassing, shameful. You should be ashamed of yourself for crying over a video game. Not only is it a wrong interpretation of what happened, which was a very natural experience. Before video games, before any technology, people would simply reminisce with memories, beautiful memories in their mind. What would she do back then, centuries ago, when technology didn't even really exist? No flat screens, right? No screens. Would she literally cringe in front of you saying, "What are you doing? Why are you remembering such a beautiful memory? Stop doing that. It's so cringe. I would like if you just stop remembering happy moments in your past." That's downright evil. You see the context here? It doesn't matter if it's over a video game. The same rule applies. It's not about the video game. It's about you having a beautiful moment to yourself, and maybe that made her jealous, but angry and upset and cringe. I would just say dump her on the spot. Thankfully, you guys don't have kids. Thankfully, you guys aren't married. Either she fixes her act right now, which I highly doubt is going to happen because this is pretty toxic. It's not the worst case we've ever seen or I've ever heard of. But it's very alarming, to say the least. Okay? She then said she didn't stop to think of how actually meaningful that moment was for me. I don't think she ever stops to think. Because she got really angry. Really angry. What would accelerate a person's toxic emotions that bad? Like, okay, you're toxic, right? But really angry? There's plenty of other things in life to be really angry about. Like war and poverty. I mean, get really angry at that. It's not good for your health. But, I mean, if you want something to be really angry about, and said she was sorry. Well, that's what abusers usually say. I mean, people who mean it will say I'm sorry, but also the abusers will say I'm sorry, right? She was so dismissive and insensitive and promised not to do it ever again. But it has happened over and over, young lady. It has happened again and again before. He already said it. She admitted that she has to work on herself more and apologize once again. Sorry, but I won't say I love you, and come here, give me a hug and a kiss. Let's kiss and make up, right? Maybe get a little frisky, a little kinky. No, none of that. Just, oh, I'm sorry again, but you know, we have a roommate relationship, so, oh, my bad, honey. Not even honey, it's just like, oh, sorry. I just really hate it when you do this, and that was so lousy. Give me a break. I mean, I have to laugh. I mean, I didn't expect to laugh this much, man, but you gotta be joking. She's so cringe. And said she tried to be more understanding. That's an impossibility at this point. And patient. I beg to differ. I don't see you ever becoming patient. Which I hope she does. You can hope all you want. I hope she does. But so far, I haven't heard anything positive about her. Other than you guys play tennis, you get along roommate level, whatever, but okay, checked off a few blocks. not the one that counts. I'm not perfect either. But you could be. And you both could be. You guys could become perfect soulmates. But not with a poor attitude on her behalf, because it takes two. There's two halves of the heart. If one is messed up, the other will crumble, and that heart will be broken. And separation will be thus inevitable. Perfection does exist. So, can't expect you to improve that mentality. You should always work on perfecting yourself. It's a journey, not a destination. But I'm willing to put in the effort to work on myself. See? You're trying to perfect yourself. When you say you work on yourself, you mean you're trying to perfect yourself, right? That's what perfection's all about. Work on yourself. Work with each other. Right? For the good of our relationship. As long as that doesn't mean giving up something that makes me or her happy because I love her. Okay, but the way she uses the word love is not satisfactory, is it? We are planning on playing some tennis later. Why don't you guys just play tennis video games? If she loves tennis and you love tennis so much, try some tennis. There's like Mario Tennis or something. I mean, come on now. Where's the creativity? So hopefully things will continue to simmer down. Yeah, but when's that volcano going to explode again? Right now there's ashes everywhere. You can still die from the ashes, right? It's just too much. It's becoming a little bit difficult to see where this relationship is going with so many ashes falling from the sky from her volcano heartless center, right? Her heartless body. Let's just put it at that. And this episode won't occur ever again. But we already have a series. We already have series of episodes. Countless episodes. You know it's going to happen. You know there's going to be another season, right? I mean, ever again. Never say never, right? Obviously, this is an alert for me. It should be. It very much should be. But I hope it stays a one-time thing. But it's not. You've already been through this before. Not on this level, but it was boiling. It was simmering. She was showing signs that she's going to erupt, right? And she finally did. But what happens with volcanoes, ladies and gentlemen? What happens with volcanoes? Do they just erupt once and that's the end of that? Oh, that's okay. Vesuvius won't ever erupt again. Oh, that's all good. Let's just build a bunch of cities around it, pretend it's never going to erupt again. It might happen 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now in your relationship. But with an attitude like that, she doesn't sound very convincing that she's going to change for the better. What's missing from this case is that you said that you're willing to put in the effort to work on yourself for the good of the relationship. Why didn't she say that? She's just about the apologies, the cheap apologies. There's no genuine apology here. It's very cheap. It's very fake, in my opinion. Where's the hug? Where's the kiss? And even if she did hug and kiss you, what are her facial expressions like? Is she really genuine about her apology? Because there's a difference. There's a huge, enormous difference, about 1,000 miles difference between a heartfelt apology and a heartless apology done in a robotic manner. You're just going through the motions. You're just saying the words just to get it over with. Because it's cringy and annoying to even argue about something that was cringy and annoying to her. You get the point? All right, let's go ahead and proceed because that concludes that case. My goodness. Really don't want to even go over that again. Never allow small problems to snowball into larger problems. Too many couples allow small issues to continue, learning the hard way. Completely unnecessary, by the way. That such risky neglect can easily lead to extreme situations where the unimaginable can suddenly become your own dark reality. Communication is key. Now, the way these two were communicating is decent, but it's not effective. Everybody knows that she's obviously going to do this again in one way or another. Because she doubled down that crying nostalgic tears of joy. There's so many wrong things happening here. I'm just going to try my best to consolidate it. She's crying over the fact, well, she's angry over the fact that you're crying over two things, right? The trigger was the video game music. But the thing you're actually crying over, which you told her and she just really didn't care. She didn't even address it, which is heartless. You were crying because you remembered a happy childhood. That was the core of your nostalgic tears. The trigger was the video game. Now, she got upset over you and what triggered you, claiming that what triggered you shouldn't have triggered you to cry tears of nostalgic joy. So she's disappointed over the mechanism, over the middle thing that caused the end result. And that's pathetic. That's completely heartless. That's not even the point of what hurts you. What hurts you is that she doesn't give a damn about your happy childhood memories. You see what I'm getting at? This is much bigger than a simple video game and you having a moment of nostalgia. It's a truly red alarming situation, a big red flag, because she's telling you, honey, I don't really love you or care about you. That's what she's telling you. When you open yourself up like that, man or woman in the relationship, whether you're the guy or the woman, and you cry in front of your partner should feel like, oh my goodness, are you okay? She did ask if he was okay. But she was annoyed by the fact that he's crying, thinking that it was over the video game. That makes no sense. Why would he be crying over Pokemon, the music, right? Think about it. She's unintelligent. She's telling you so many toxic things right now. By the way she reacted, and by the way she can't even apologize in a genuine fashion. She doesn't mean her apology. I highly recommend that you break up with her if this is what it's going to be for the rest of your guys' lives. It is highly toxic. Because like I said before, today it's the video game. No, it's not even about the video game. I mean, she said that it's cringy and stupid. She's actually the stupid one and the cringy one. Because she doesn't care about your past experiences and what makes you feel happy deep down inside. That tells you that there is no heart. There's only half of a heart, and it's just you. Maybe there never was a heart to begin with. It doesn't matter if you guys play tennis together. It doesn't matter if all the other blocks are checked. You do the errands, you do this, you do that. That one block is not checked. Why isn't it checked? That should have been checked a long time ago. Whether you're boyfriend, girlfriend for 1 year or not, one day, the moment you guys claim to have fallen in love, you probably fell in love with her, but she never fell in love with you. Because somebody who has fallen in love with you would never do something like that. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody will have arguments. But this is pretty much borderline unforgivable. Because she doubled down. She said, no, I pretty much meant what I said. Oh, but I'm sorry. That's not an apology. That's like if you slap someone and say, oh, I'm sorry. I'll try not to do it again. But I just got so angry, It's lame. It's cringe. It's sad. And with that said, this has been Coach Ben's Case by Case. Much love, everybody.